Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Wendell Elamine James Show. Tonight on our show, we have Brother Raheem. Uh, he served some time in the state prison in California, and we want to bring him on today and talk with him a little bit, and talk with you and see how you doing. How you doing, my brother?
I'm blessed today. I'm good. I'm
Good,
blessed.
good, good.
Yes.
Good to have you on our show today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you.
We have the show, and then we want to bring it to the community and let the community know who we are. We had never had a forum before where we can talk to the community and show that we are people that went and did time, and we came back to society, and now we're back to be part of this world out here. So I want to ask you a few questions about your crime and the time that you did, and we just basic questions. Let the society know who you are. Where did you do your time at?
At that time, at various CCR institutions, namely Saladad, Pelican Bay, Saladad, Salad Central and North, New Folsom, Vacaville, which is CTF Maine, Solano, and CMC, SEDF, which is the new Corcoran, and a couple yards there. And various prisons have various yards. So, if I say certain prisons multiple years, I might have just rotated around in several yards in certain prisons. But I've moved around quite a bit though.
Okay. What was your crime that you went to prison for?
My crime was second-degree murder.
Second-degree murder.
Yes.
And how much time were you given for second-degree murder?
I was sentenced to 15 years to life.
15 years of life. Okay. And you were sentenced out of what county?
Alameda County.
Alameda County. The time that you came to prison, what type of person were you when you was in society before you went to prison?
Oh, well, I was very young. First of all,
How old were you?
I was only 20 years old when I committed my crime. Okay. But before that, I was a really, really lost. Okay. We lost individual, and lost in the sense of just like not sense like physically lost, but more like socially, and as well as spiritually, and I was at the verge of kind of trying to find myself, and in that verge of trying to find myself, in my limited knowledge, I made several terrible mistakes.
Okay. Now going into the system, you started your time at what prison?
I was on my time at Saladad,
Soledad.
CTF Central at the time.
Okay, going into the system, you had to adjust to the prison way of living. How did that affect you?
Oh, it was a big culture shock. You got to think of a guy. Look at a 20-year-old kid, of state of immaturity, of high state of immaturity, myself, and going to the situation where I'm forced to grow up fast. You got to make a decision on how you want to survive. I guess based on your knowledge that you got, based on your information that you received, based on your upbringing. I had to make a decision to survive in this situation. So I was forced to grow up fast.
Okay. You now going into the system, I like to ask a question to people going into prison because this is your first time doing time in the system.
Yes.
Okay. You had a new world, so to speak, that you had going into prison. Mm-hmm. So how did you adjust? How did you become part of that world inside of a world, so to speak?
Well, I attached on to things I already knew already. It's like you do what you know, and things like from the society I come from, is people that I can relate to there.
Okay.
So I kind of attached on to those individuals.
Okay.
And so some was more older individuals, because my upbringing I was around a lot of older individuals who mentored me. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So naturally I gravitate towards the older individuals, and this happened to be most of them was lifers.
Okay.
Right. So that's where I got my first schooling, my first knowledge.
Okay. Now going into the system, did you go to school? Did you become educated more than what you were when you came into the system? Did you find yourself going to get your education, go further your education? How did you do that?
Yeah, I did start get my education because when it set in, how serious my situation was, I really sat down and thought about it. I need to do something. I didn't know everything I needed to do, but I did know I did need to do something different.
Right.
So and I also geared toward spirituality, or religion. 'Cause I was raised in a spiritual based family, so I kind of geared toward that also. That kind of helped me along the way to make better decisions too, and to keep me kind of like grounded, somewhat grounded. I still was immature, but it kept me somewhat grounded.
Okay.
But I did started school, but at the time I had problems with that because I didn't understand the value of going to school
Right.
in prison.
Right. Now, going into the system, how did you feel about your crime? You took somebody's life.
Yeah, I was in
how did you feel about that crime when you first went into the system?
As my first one says, I was in a state of denial. I was in a big state of denial. I was under because I didn't actually physically commit the crime. I was always under the impression that I was lesser than
You was lesser than
my the person who did it.
Okay.
Actually committed the crime. I was involved in the crime. I put myself as lesser, and it was a state of denial.
Okay.
I always just say, well, I was only there. Instead of owning up to what I did. I say I was in the bathroom.
Right.
I didn't never lay hand on them.
Right.
I see all these things, and all these things were just testimonies to my state of denial.
Right.
Until it took some years to really click that when you get really kind of spiritually grounded more and more, and you get they call it epiphany.
Right.
Exactly. Or just a spiritual awakening, as I like to say. I finally came to grips with for being around certain individuals also, who also had accountability, great accountability. And that's what I learned. So I learned about accountability. Own up to what you did. Right. Be honest, and just move on.
Accept responsibility.
Accept responsibility and try to move on. Try to accept it, correct it if you can. If you can't, try to just move on and just make it better later on.
Right. Now going into prison, you had to do certain things going into prison when you go to when you start time of life sentence. I believe the first hearing that you have is a doc hearing.
Doc.
You go in front of a board member, and they tell you what they recommend for you to do in order to get out of prison.
Mm-hmm.
How did you accept that?
Oh, I said it as a waste of time in a sense, because even though they tell me I can do these things, and trying to say that it might be a light end of the tunnel,
right?
They give these inclinations, but at the same time, it was no hope there. It was no hope of going home.
You say it was no hope?
No hope for me.
Okay.
Of going home, because when they said 15 years of life, I had accepted that life.
Okay.
And so I didn't see going home.
Okay.
At the time,
So it hadn't registered that maybe you might do 15 years and then go home, or you did 15 years, or you just got life.
No, it had set in at that time that I might spend the rest of my life in prison.
Okay.
And so I with these doc hearings. Actually, I with the 2 doc hearings. It hasn't really registered that I can possibly go home if I do these certain things.
Right. Now, let me ask you a question. At what time in your life did the light come on to say, I got a possibility of going home? I better start doing these programs. I better start going to NA. I better start going to AA. I better start doing self-help programs in order to appease the Board of Prison terms. So when my time comes, going in front of the board, there's a possibility I might go home.
Well, it was several, incidents or situations where that made me realize that I need to do something better. I kind of owe it to several incidents, but I can't. It's hard to pinpoint a particular time when I just woke up. It kind of started gradually. Cause I did little bit of things at a time. As I seen other people do certain things, I said, I could do that too.
Okay.
Certain lifers now.
Okay.
I'm around certain lifers who were doing the right thing.
Okay.
So it started to rub off.
Yeah, because I know at one period of time in Department of Corrections, we had 2 governors that stated that the only way a lifer got out of prison was in a pine box.
Yes.
So that's why I asked, at what time in your life, doing life sentence, did it come to realize that you could possibly get out of prison? Was it after their term as an office as governor, or was it before? Or what time? What time was it?
Well, I think it's kind of around the time when one of my crime partners got released.
Okay.
The female Miss Jane Shea Woods, who was a victim in my crime. But when she got released, and there was an article in the paper, and I read it, which was in 2000, it started giving me a little more hopes.
Okay.
Start opening up, start registering a little more then. Then they had to change the governors.
Okay.
Kind of get a little more hope.
It made a lot more hope. Huh?
Yeah, a lot more hope. But I had been, before that, I had been involved. I've been involved in my program, like mentoring programs. I've been involved in various educational programs. I had got involved in contributing to the community where I was at. I started to learn that I have to contribute to my community wherever I'm at. And my community at that time was in prison.
In prison.
So I tried to contribute the best way I could to that community. Was staying involved in positive things, positive programs. So I had started to get involved before that. Cause I was like, I'm not gonna do this just because to go home. I'm doing it because I need to change as a person. Period.
You need to change you.
Yes.
You need to change you. Now, in during your stay in prison, you attended a number of self-help programs.
Yes.
It was advised for you to go to NAAA. In those programs, once you start this program, you can't quit. You have to continue those programs. NAAA, because you're accepting the responsibility that I do have a problem.
Well, you know what? I had a session on the NAAA groups because I don't have a drug alcohol history.
Right.
So I had got kind of like a session through the board that would not be necessary to attend those particular groups. But I would just target the issues at hand, like anger management,
Okay.
Stress management, life skills, critical thinking, things of that nature. Things that combat my issues. Personally, I didn't have the drug alcohol issues, so I couldn't combat something I don't have. Okay. So I did combat the issues I did have, though.
Okay.
So I focused on the groups that address the issues I have.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, how many times did you appear in front of the Board of Prison Attorneys?
I appeared for prison terms totally, counting the 2 doc hearings and the 1 initial hearing. I appeared for board of prison terms 9 times.
9 times.
10 times? No, 10 times.
10 times.
Yes.
Your 10th time, you were found suitable.
Yes.
Okay. Now, going in front of the Board of Prison Attorneys and your 10th time, you was found suitable for parole. You had to do certain things to appease the Board of Prison Attorneys, to see them or to show them that you did the complete change from the person that you were when you came to prison
Yes.
to the person who you are now, to see that you're acceptable to go back into society and be a law-abiding citizen.
Yes.
Okay, you had to do a number of things.
Yes.
Now, each time you went to the Board of Prison Attorneys, they denied you, and they said, well, you don't fit the criteria yet, you don't have remorse, you don't have certain things that we find you suitable for parole, and denied you 2 years, 3 years, or whatever. The time that you went in front of the board, that feeling that you had, that day you went to board, explain that to me.
Before the decision?
In that board hearing,
Yes.
that board hearing, did you have a feeling in that board hearing that you were going to be found suitable?
Actually, I did. I did.
How did that feel? How did that hearing come about? Give me the feeling that you had. Explain to the society.
It was a feeling of high anxiety for sure. My case was kind of like unique. I had filed a writ of habeas corpus against the board decision before that, based on their frivolous denials. They say I didn't have parole plans intact or things of that nature, which I did. Then they say it wasn't sufficient enough. But I won a ruling through the court, thanks to Justice Klein, who saw the truth, and granted me a new hearing, a brand new hearing, with the stipulations to go by the particular guidelines that set forth in their rules and regulations, and it would perfectly like it's supposed to go. I felt blessed, and I was already confident, because I'm a believer. I believe in my Creator. My Creator tells me that I don't have to keep doing the right thing, that I would get the good things. So I had that belief, in my heart already going in there, to say that, I'm gonna get good things out of this because I did the right thing.
Do you believe that at the time that you did the crime that it was just?
I believe you can't put a time on taking somebody's life. So I can't really say that it was just, I believe that I deserve punishment for
With
being
the crime,
involved in taking this
right,
man's
right,
life
right.
because he didn't deserve that. His family didn't deserve that grief.
Right.
And over the years, I began to understand the rippling effect of this stuff. I didn't understand it the first time and how it affects all of us. Not just the victim itself or the ones who do the time, but their families.
Right.
And even the Justice Department. Affects everybody. Everybody's affected, And when I begin to understand that, I begin to understand the value of life.
Right. Exactly.
More,
Exactly.
more and more.
Exactly. And the reason why I ask these questions because we have a forum here that we want to be able to tell society, who we are.
Yes.
Right. We committed whatever crime we committed to go to prison for, and we went to prison, and we did. I use the word metamorphosis. We did the metamorphosis, the change from who we were going into the system to who we are now. And we were able to go in front of a board of prison terms and prove to the board of prison terms that we are suitable to go back into society and be
Yes.
part of society today.
Yes.
Right? So this is why I ask these questions because, see, people in society, they think that we committed a crime, we're doing the time, and that's what we're supposed to be. Right? And in a lot of cases, that's true.
Yes.
But in a lot of cases, it's not true because, see, for one split second, we went insane. When you pull that trigger, we took somebody's life. We went insane. But we came back.
Yes.
We went into a system and we became the person who we are today. We got educated. We went to self-help programs. We did things that a normal person in society don't do.
Yeah.
People in society walk around insane all day, right? But we went temporarily insane. We went into a system, and we did the change of coming to who we are today.
Yeah.
And we came back into this society, and we want to be part of this society.
Yes.
And we have the right to be part of this society because that person that went in those years ago, that person does not exist any longer. Right?
Yes.
So this is why we have this show. We want to tell society, we want to show society that going into prison, we didn't go to prison and get some weights and start driving iron. We didn't go into prison and become predators on other individuals. And we didn't go into that society and become part of that society. We went into that society and we educated ourselves to be part of this society out here. So this is why we have the show today. So
Yes.
we appreciate you coming on this show because society has to know. They have to know because they don't know. They don't know. They haven't been told. No one ever told them before that we're a human being. We made a mistake, took somebody's life, we stole something from somebody, whatever we did to go to prison for, but we're human. We deserve another shot in society,
Yes.
and that's what we're here for today. So we want you to tell society who you are, what you did, what your goals are for the future, and you want to be part of this world. Accept you. We want you to tell society.
Tell society who I am.
Yes.
What I did. My name is Roy Raheem Butler. In 1987, I committed a heinous crime, and for that, I paid a lot of years. And from these years, I have learned. I've come to the realization that human life is very valuable. I've learned what it is to be antisocial and social, be a part of society, be a contributor to society. I've learned that to be a man, you have to make the right decisions in life, responsible decisions. You have to be accountable for everything you do. That's being a man. And I just wanted to be acceptable to society. I just wanted to be a person who contributes to society. I want to live my life peacefully and be around me, people around me to be peaceful also. I want to leave a legacy for my family, a good legacy. So when I'm gone and passed on, they can look back at my life and say, you know what, he did something good. At least he tried to do the best he could do. And that's all I ask for.
You contributed to this world, to this society. Yeah. Right. So your plans is to have a family, to live the hopefully the American dream, the house up on the hill, white picket fence, and the dog named Spot.
Yeah.
You know, the American dream.
Yeah, let's peacefully.
You want to contribute back to the world.
Comfortable.
You know, you have a child on his way. You'll be here in a few months.
Yes, I've been blessed to
Congratulations
be a
with
father
that.
for the first time.
Congratulations.
And that's another thing. I think God has given me the opportunity to produce something to the world. You know, and I look at it as a second chance for me. You know, because I didn't get it right, but this one she can get it right though.
And get it right.
She can get it right. So through her, we can definitely make it better.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. We congratulate you and your queen on your life coming into the world. You know, this is about multiplying.
Yes.
You know, bringing into society's life.
Yes.
You know, and a life that can contribute to this world. You know, because we ourselves in this world, we're in trouble.
Yeah. Can I say one more thing too?
Yes,
one
sir.
more thing, and I might add, if it like mention my queen, Miss O'Leah, which I love dearly. If it weren't for her, that's my backbone.
Right.
You know, I think God has blessed me with a very strong woman. You know, and through all this struggle I've been through since I've been out, she's been there, and she's been very, very, very supportive.
Right on.
Very, very supportive. You know, and very encouraging.
That's right on.
You know, so I thank God for that.
Right on. That's beautiful. Well, giving respect to your queen. This is the holiday season. You know, this is a first for many of us that's coming home from that Department of Corrections. It's the first for many of us, and you know, I wish all that's home for the first time in years. You know, happy holidays. You know, for the first of many.
Yes.
You know, so
Yes.
I wish you the very best, and we want to thank you for coming on to the show again today, and enjoy your life. You know, every day on this side of the fence above ground, we got another blessed day above ground, one more day to get it right. You know, and I say that religiously every day. You know, God gave us another shot.
Yes.
One more day above ground, one more day to get it right, one day at a time, straight ahead, tunnel vision. That what you didn't get it right yesterday, get it right today. That what you don't get it right today, get it right tomorrow. This day would never happen again. Be like a sponge, suck everything that you can get out of this day. That what you can't, dispose of it. But don't hurt nobody doing it. Life is precious. Freedom is precious. Live life like you would want everybody else to live. Don't hurt nobody doing it. One day at a time, straight ahead, tunnel vision. Thank you for coming on to the show today. We appreciate you having you today. You know, next Saturday night at 7 o'clock, when the Elamine James show will be on at 7 o'clock. So come on and be a part of the show. Enjoy, tell a friend. You know, we want society to know that this show is on for lifers. We want to give lifers an opportunity to talk and explain and share their stories with society, with the community. So give us a shot. Allow us to be able to express who we are, and just tune in, be part of the show. Thank you, and have a good evening, have a good weekend, and happy holidays to everybody.